Hi, jury. My name is Sree, Purple Tribe member, and I think the name of my game has been to make alliances and make sure that I am in good with every single person I talk to. I did not want to alienate anyone. I did not want to, make it seem like I was, butting up with people when I wasn't. I wanted to be very inclusive and friendly towards every single person I talked to, and that was my strategy. The second mindset I came into this game with was to not make big moves, or not make it seem like I'm making big moves, right? I really wanted to play dumb. I wanted to come off as, oh, I don't know what's going on. I don't really know Survivor. And so I was asking a lot of stupid questions. I was like, oh, what's going on? And that was very intentional. That was very like, oh, explain it to me so you don't think I know. And so I think those two have really helped me come here. And so in terms of specific moves that I did that I think got me here, I think pushing 2 specific votes in particular, really three specific votes that did happen that I was part of, I think that is what cemented this. The first one was Grant. I'm sorry, Grant. You were one of my strongest alliances, and I had to vote you out because the majority was for you. And so the first round, I didn't vote for you because of that loyalty. But the second round, I was like, there's no chance. I cannot convince everyone. And so I went with the flow to avoid, making a move and making me the target. And so I think that did help me move forward in the game. The second vote that really did hurt and that I spoke to many of you about is to vote for Jake over Jack. And that was also very strategic. I really wanted to go forward in the game with Jack. And so that is a reason that I really pushed that vote as well. He's not here to hear my apology. 30 seconds. And then the first, even before all that, I think voting for Summer, was something I was definitely throwing around to a lot of people. And so I think I was definitely a participant in those 3 votes, and I helped those votes happen. And I would like to take some credit for those votes. And so my strategy, making alliances, making friends, and also not making obvious waves.
Jack, you're next.
Hey everyone, it's really good to be up here. As I mentioned earlier, it's an honor. In terms of my game, my main strategy coming into the game was at the very beginning was to establish alliances that were going to get me at least through the merge in the game. I made 2 specific alliances that I think got me to that point. First, I created a very quick bond with Megan and Carolyn, and then with Sree and Grant. And both of those helped me get as far as I could. Specifically, Sree and Grant, when we were in the 5 green tribe at that point. I think without that bond, I don't think I would be here now. Also in that green tribe, I was in the swing vote, and I ended up deciding to go with Sree, stick with Sree and Grant, because I thought that they would be better for my game going forward, because I thought they were loyal players. Once we got around mid-merge, I realized that I was not being looked at as a player that could get to the end and win the game, so I switched up my strategy at that point. I started to look at who the threats were. I knew I couldn't beat Summer, Grant, whoever came back from the edge of extinction, Megan, and Jake, and so I was part of all of those votes. I didn't begrudgingly go along with the first Grant vote. I specifically was part of that vote the second time as well. Also with Megan, we had a bond from the very beginning, but I knew that I couldn't beat you in the end, so I knew I had to get you out. Summer, everyone was saying you're such a big power player, so I knew I had to be part of that vote. I know you felt like you were struggling for the middle of the vote. The other thing I wanted to highlight is that I only voted incorrectly 1 time. I think I was responsible for the majority of the people out here. The only time I voted incorrectly was on the Aaron vote. I knew he was probably going to be voting for me, but once he stole the vote, I thought we had talked about maybe voting for Jake. I've been pushing Jake for many times before he actually ended up going home. And so I thought there's a chance when you stole the vote, you'd be voting Jake. I was the Jake vote along with you. Right after that, I went straight to Jake and said, I'm voting for you, and I thought that was the impetus to get Jake out in the first place, and I think that was a really important part to keep Prague of the game. Once again, really excited to see answer your questions. Really grateful to be up here. Thanks, everyone.
Jack.
Hi. So I knew coming in my strength was going to be my social game, which I knew I was going to have to tone down a little bit and also create shields. So my game was very much one of shields and trust. So on the trust component, immediately I made a really solid 5 alliance with you, and then Jake is now gone. But I also made sure to keep the door open on the Purple Tribe with everyone and to make sure everyone felt really comfortable, or as comfortable as possible. In terms of my shield, I knew I had to keep Jake in as long as possible. He was the only thing between me and getting voted out, and I knew I had to get him out, otherwise it was was going to be me. I knew I was trash at puzzles, whatever, like those puzzle people do whatever. I also knew I couldn't keep strategic people in the game for that long because that is not my strength and they were going to outmaneuver me. So that's why Grant had to go out pretty early and a couple of other you had to go out pretty early. You were a strategizer, I could tell right away. In terms of, so before the merge, Megan gave me her idol. We had a really tight bond throughout. She gave me her half of the idol. When we got to the merge, I was open to work, and various forms of merges. I was open to working with the Blue Tribe, but you all seemed kind of like playing the game super, super hard and didn't feel like focused on forming like really genuine connections. Only like Stevie made it to them. I think she really like reached out, but I was very open to working with all of you. It just felt like you guys were like, yeah, it was like kind of hard to dive in. So I wanted to explain that. And I was like, I trust the 5 I'm with. So yeah, so then biggest move that came out is Megan and me had been discussing who to use our idol on. I knew I had to get Megan out once she won all those immunities, was sick at puzzles. And so I went around camp and was like, everyone needs to tell Megan the vote is me, so she plays the idol on me. So I convinced everyone within 5 minutes to tell Megan that the vote was for me. And then Megan played the idol for me, and I knew it was Megan going home, and I had to betray my closest ally, but that's what got me here. So, and I knew I had to win the final immunity. I fucking did it. Rock and roll.
Thank you guys for your opening remarks. Thank you, Carolyn. We're now going to turn to the jury. So you guys have prepared a couple of questions. Who's going first?
Congratulations, final 3. I'm not going to get too personal here to get started, but it ties in with the question. When I was voted out, I was very appreciative to work with like-minded Survivor fans, people that were very much into the game. I played 2 other games and was always voted out very early because they said that I knew too much or just I was a threat in that regard. What I didn't tell people whenever I started is that for the last 10 years I've hosted my own LRG, 25 seasons, and I very much appreciate when a production group can put together a good themed season with appropriate twists, advantages, challenges to incorporate a theme. So my question for the final 3 is, how did the theme of this season, the associated challenges, twists, advantages, etc., how did it impact your game for better or worse?
I mean, so honestly, like I played such an alliance heavy game. I was putting a ton of stock into the people that I trusted and also leaving the door open to work with other people. So when those twists came, I was usually generally in a good position to pull like one other purple person in, or like just like make an alliance that was strategic for me. Like I knew the people, and I just put my trust in them, and I think that's mainly how I navigated the twists and turns of the season. I don't think I did particularly well at the challenges. I used my athleticism where I could, but like truly I think that's how I maneuvered the game. And I also, so one thing also with like the tricks that are among us, Grant, like we knew we wanted him out, and I was pushing Grant for a long time because he like turned to me at tribal. Like the first tribal was like, I love deception games. I was like, God. And so I like followed Grant around the island to make sure he didn't find an immunity idol right before tribal council, and tried to make him feel as safe as possible. Yeah.
I think I can point to at least 3 things in terms of the theme that impacted my game one way or the other. I think first being the half idols with the theme from Alice in Wonderland on them. TJ gave me an attempt to get me to vote with him and Kevin on the Green Tribe. He gave me half of his idol. I chose to pick a relationship over an idol and a new person that I was not super comfortable with at that exact time. And so I think right there I had an opportunity to go with the theme of the split idols and go with TJ and see like maybe what that could have been, but I instead decided to stick with my alliance. The tea party at the merge, I was one of the people who was not safe, so I think at that point I had to navigate a very condensed, with a large field of voters, a condensed period of time and not to get voted out, so I think that impacted me as well. I think the final thing that impacted me that I definitely didn't love is that I kept thinking about, I don't know why, I kept thinking about rabbits at the final word puzzle, and I kept trying to spell rabbit even though there was not 2 B's, and I just could not get it out of my head, and that impacted me, I'd say, in a negative way. So I think that's the biggest ways that the theme impacted me.
Next question.
So you guys talk a lot about playing alliance and loyal game, but there was a lot more time for you to bond because you weren't going to tribal every 7 minutes. So I would like you to look at each other who have been with each other for the whole game and tell us why we shouldn't vote for those people next to you.
I don't think you should vote for Jack because while he does have a solid game, I don't think he's made a lot of like power moves, right? I think he stayed on the down low and hasn't really shaken the boat that much. So that's my pitch. For you, Carolyn, I think I was like, what's your name? One thing that is really important for me in Survivor is like loyalty, and I think you betrayed your closest alliance, and that like for me that's rough. I think that's like a vote against, you know, like against yeah, so that's a reason I think you shouldn't vote for Carolyn.
I don't think you should vote for Sree. I think we were on the very similar paths. We started blue, then we went green, then we merged together. I don't think she was as influential in each of those parts of the game as I was. I don't think that she played quite a strong game in terms of deciding votes. She specifically said that I went along with voting for Grant. I specifically wanted to get Grant out. I don't think that she talked about how I didn't make the big moves myself. I think that she's actually more guilty of that than myself. In terms of Carolyn, I think one of the things that I tried to do, everyone thought of Carolyn and Megan as a tight duo, but like really, I was just, maybe she's gonna tell me wrong, but I was just in as well with Megan. Part of my strategy was to make sure that was not known quite as much. I know it towards the end, people were like, what's going on with you and Megan? But I think specifically by being so overt, I think you put a larger target on your back, and I think that was part of my strategy to stay away.
1000% deserve to win this game. I think it's super hard to both play the social, more quiet game and make a flashy move at the end and still be existing at the end. That is super, super hard, and I waited and waited and waited until the moment that I knew I had to make the flash move, and then I executed it. In terms of Jack like literally came up to me before her power trial and was like, I don't know what you should do, but like I like think you should win this. Like I absolutely think you should win this, and I think that that's like a pretty strong case for me. I also think like in terms of both of them, quite honestly, I think they both played an alliance game, and I was playing like a little bit ahead. Like I knew who the shields were that I had to keep in and the people that I had to get out in order to secure my spot here. Even in final immunity, which I think was my most important thing, like me and Jack were head to head solving that word puzzle. He was way ahead of me. I trash at word puzzles, and like I found final tribal, and I knew we were looking at each other, so I was like, okay, I need to re-scramble these at the bottom before I put them on because he's gonna look at mine. So then I was like, I scrambled final tribal and then solved the top of tea time, and then I threw everything on at the last moment because I knew that was gonna be like the thing. Sree, I think honest, like yeah, like I think I did betray my alliance. I'm really proud that I betrayed my alliance. I think that's my distinguishing move, and what was with me today. Yeah.
Next question.
So we've heard a lot about all of the accomplishments that you have made, and all of the game moves that you have made. But we're interested in hearing about the one accomplishment, the one game move that you personally can take credit for that you are most proud of.
That's a tough question. I think in a game with so many people, it's hard to say this is like the one thing that I did that no one helped with. I think that I know Carolyn has been sitting over here and saying that like she took out Megan, but I think it was a collective effort. I believe I was the last person to talk to Megan before the vote, and she looked at me and said, look me dead in the eyes and tell me like you're not voting for me, and tell me to play the idol on Carolyn, and or tell me where to play the idol, and I said, I think you should play it for Carolyn, and I think that was more influential than the setup for actually having the idol. I think like that conversation was actually more important. So that's what I would say.
I can't think of one like specific moment, but one like general thing similarly is that right before I think a series of votes, I was able to just like tell the person I voted for that I was not going to vote for them, and just like straight face and like why, and that was really hard. So I personally am like proud of that. I think maybe just to be able to like play this game right, you know, and not like reveal my strategy. So I think I'm proud of that general. I feel like I've spoken about my move a bunch, but I'm more like I just think it was
like it was the only thing that we could do. We knew we had to get Megan out, and like no one else was like talking about Megan's. I think I was the only one of us who knew.
Can I hop in? Megan told me almost as early as you when you found it.
Yeah,
so
sure.
I knew the entire game.
Okay, that's totally fine. Either way, I had the idol in my bra, and like was like if there was any suspicion, it was Megan. If there was any suspicion that it was Megan would have 100% played that idol on herself, and I had to make her feel so safe, and like as her number one like confidant, like I had to look her in the eyes and be like, no, I have not heard your name, you're good, like I think it's me, I'm scared, I'm nervous. I had to play that up at tribal council and like be in their shit show, and yeah, like they both helped in that, and like but Sree was skeptical of the plan, but like I was the one who was like, no, this is the plan we have to do, otherwise it's not, like it's just not gonna pan out, like she's gonna play her idol.
Would you have given me the other half of it if I asked you to?
I think I was trying to avoid it with everything that I could. I don't think I ultimately would have, but I was trying to avoid it as much as I possibly could. And I wanted to make sure I wasn't in that position, which is why I came up with the plan like 2 tribals earlier, that like if this came to the situation, like I needed to make sure that you were going to play for me.
Hi, I'm Grant. Thank you for turning the jury against me. I'm never going to win now. But my question is, what would you do differently? How would you have adjusted your game knowing what you know now? And we'll go from right to left with Jack.
All right, I think 2 things I would love to have done differently. I think I played a little bit, like before I turned on, like specifically picking targets to go for, I played a little bit wishy-washy. I think with the Blues specifically, I think I was doing a lot of like, I'll vote with you guys, and then like not executing that on like a consistent basis. And I think that's not necessarily like the best gameplay. So I think I would have either been more interested in like pursuing that, or not been as like back and forth, because I don't think that struck a great chord with certain players on the Blue Tribe. And then the second thing I would have loved to done is won the final immunity, because that would have been great. And I sat there at that word buddy puzzle forever, and I could not get it. So
I think one thing that definitely would have helped is like watching more Survivor and like rewatching more Survivor, just like understand the strategies a little bit more and like implement them. The second one would probably be to, I think I tried my best, but I think winning an immunity would have helped my game a little bit more, to be like, oh, I was able to win this, you know? So just to be able to say that would have been helpful to my game.
I think I had to recalculate, because coming off of the merge when I was one of the 5 that could have been voted out. That was like the scariest. I don't know. And I think I was maybe like showed off my athleticism a little too much at the beginning, and people were aware that I was a social threat. But then once I heard my name out there, and also Jake was critical in this because he was feeding me information from everyone telling me it was my name, which is also why it was a great shield to have. But I think like after that I had to recalculate and be like, okay, I gotta go back under the radar now, because that's not great. So, yeah, tone down at the athleticism stuff. How long is this?
1 minute.
1 minute? Okay. No, I'm really proud of the game I played. I think I made a lot of people feel very, very safe in the relationships that I was in, and I developed like a very strong base of people. I took out, like, it was just like shield that I knew that I needed to get out of the game in the order that I needed to get them out, and I think that was just like really, really crucial to my game. I really enjoyed playing with all of you and getting to know all of you. It was like just like truly like a blast. Yeah, I truly am at a loss for what else to say. I think I just used all of you in the way that I could, and I knew, I had thought about my strengths and how I was going to play this, and like it is how I ended up playing the game. So, yeah.
Jack, you're up.
I won't go too long, but like this is a dream to play. It was so fun to get to know all of you. I had absolutely so much fun. I really do think that I played a little sloppy in the beginning, but I do think that once I turned it on in terms of finding targets and taking them out, I was integral in all of those decisions. I also, I am blanking right now, but I just had so much fun. I think that I'm really proud of the game that I played. I think I played a really strong game, even if people didn't necessarily always see that across the board. I also just will clarify that I said to Carolyn, I think you're gonna win. I didn't say like like, so I will say that I still told her I'm gonna fight as hard as I can to come out and do this. So like, but at the same time, I think I would stack my game up against anyone sitting here. I think I made very important moves. I think I was integral to the biggest move of the season, and that's what I have to say.
Thank you, Jack. Sree, you're up.
I had a really fun time playing this game and making friends. So I think the alliances were the best part for me personally. I love the Purple Alliance. I loved the June Birthday Alliance. I love the Houston Alliance. And so I think I really just had a fun time making alliances, and I really enjoyed this game. And just like being more comfortable with people, and like, again, the social game, I think that's what I was playing.
You may have forgotten my name, but I have not forgotten yours, and you played incredibly, Queen. Congratulations.
Jack, you were the only one that answered the question really strongly about the theme, I thought. Carolyn didn't answer it at all. And you swayed me with your comments in the final tribal. But win.
Easiest vote I made all day. You are a beast. I wish we could have played. I'm so happy for you.
I was undecided, but I am voting for Carolyn. I think she played a good game, social game, athletic, and she pulls out the end. So, first.
Yeah, that's very.
This is a hard one, and it's really hard knowing you would have won if just like, I don't know, fucking Jack would have not focused on rabbits, but between Jack and Carolyn, the fact that you kept that idol for me the whole game when we were on the same tribe together, I respect it.
I gotta reward the loyalty. Oh, thank you.
I'm out a couple times. He's gonna get my vote to win.
Oh yeah.
Jack, congratulations. I don't love that you had a pre-existing relationship coming into this game, but I think that you did a good job presenting yourself, and congratulations. And thank you all for putting all this together. This was very fun.
This is a really, really tough decision for me. My two closest allies are in the final, and they both pitched taking me as the lead. So I'm gonna give it to my girl though. I think she really crushed her final battle. So congrats. I'm gonna give her a heart. I'm gonna give her a pink heart. She deserves it. She played a great game. So Carolyn.
Oh, look.
I get two votes, and I don't want to give them to anybody, but I will. Oh, sorry. I voted for Carolyn for the first vote, and I'm voting for Jack on the second vote, and I'm putting it to fate.
Thank you. Let me show the camera.
Dun, 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 dun.
Okay, so my heart says Sree, and I love her, and she's great, and we're birthday twins, and if there was any money that was actually in this, she would do amazing, because there was actually no free checkbox on law school. But in the spirit and the respect of the game and the challenge, I thought Jack did a really good job and surprised me a lot, both by having the idol from the blue team. I found that out after I got voted out, and then the fact that he and Megan knew each other this whole time, and being on the team I had no idea. So I think a lot of the things that they were all saying, I think he played a great game.
I think this one's easy. Yeah, as someone who's never watched the show, one thing I did learn is that you got to make your right move at the right time, and Carolyn came out swinging, and it was just so impressive to watch her swing the idol and then swing the final immunity challenge. So kind of getting into it.
All right, thank you. That was it, right?
Third vote. Sree. One vote Carolyn, one vote Jack, one vote Sree. You're tied. Fourth vote. Carolyn. That's 2 votes Carolyn. Fifth vote. Dropped it. Jack. Tie. 2 votes Jack, 2 votes Carolyn, 1 vote Sree. Sixth vote. Carolyn. 3 votes Carolyn, 2 votes Jack, 1 vote Sree. Seventh vote. Jack. We're tied again. 3 votes Jack, 3 votes Carolyn, 1 vote Sree. Eighth vote. Carolyn. That's 4 votes Carolyn, 3 votes Jack, 1 vote Sree. Ninth vote. Jack. We're tied again. 4 votes Jack, 4 votes Carolyn, 1 vote Sree. 10th vote. Carolyn. That's 5 votes Carolyn, 4 votes Jack, 1 vote Sree. 11th vote. Carolyn. That's 6 votes Carolyn, 4 votes Jack, 1 vote Sree. 1 vote left. And the winner of Survivor